Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here as we unpack a fascinating and, honestly, a pretty frustrating phenomenon that hits senior care marketing right around the middle of the year. Look, if you've been feeling like your momentum just hit a literal brick wall despite doing everything right, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're putting on our detective hats to uncover the mystery of the mid-year senior care marketing slump. We're going to look at exactly what shifts beneath our feet halfway through the year, and more importantly, how you can recalibrate your strategy to actually win.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a timeline that's probably going to feel a little too familiar. It's a pattern that plays out with operators almost every single year, but man, this year, it's happening so much more dramatically. In January, you launch your shiny, well-thought-out marketing plan with a ton of optimism. It's fully funded, you're ready to go. But then, as we roll into summer, things just kind of soften. Lead volume dips, engagement slows down, and by July, your results are noticeably below projections, and you're just left scratching your head wondering why the numbers aren't adding up anymore.
So that brings us to the ultimate question. Why is your perfectly good January plan suddenly failing in July? I mean, think of this like an investigative mystery. Your team hasn't stopped working hard, your communities certainly haven't dropped in quality, the budget is still being spent, so who or what is the culprit stealing your occupancy leads? Most operators don't actually figure this out until it's way too late in the year to recover, but don't worry, we're going to solve it right now.
The answer is actually a fundamental mismatch. The culprit isn't your team, and honestly, it isn't even your original strategy. It's the fact that you're running a static January campaign inside a highly dynamic, entirely different July search environment. Your strategy didn't change, but the whole digital ecosystem did over the last 6 months. What worked perfectly to capture attention in the winter is now totally misaligned with how search engines are serving up information in the summer.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to break down the massive changes from the first half of 2026. First up, Google heavily expanded its AI overviews. This is huge, guys, because it's literally intercepting high-intent searches like families looking for memory care before your website even gets a single click. The answers are just generated right there on the results page. Second, Google ended Business Chat, which closed off a communication channel you might have been relying on. And third, the local ranking algorithm shifted to heavily reward active engagement. You just can't set it and forget it anymore.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it gave rise to entirely new acronyms you absolutely need to know. We're talking about GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization, and AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. Because of those AI overviews we just mentioned, GEO and AEO are now incredibly impactful. The operators who caught onto this and built their content to answer these AI engines, they're capturing a massive wave of AI referral traffic. Meanwhile, the operators still relying on traditional January SEO are completely missing out. It's basically a hidden highway of leads they don't even know exists.
The solution, silvercore.io's 4-check audit.
So, the crucial point is, how do we actually fix this? To evaluate the damage and pivot, silvercore.io developed a really concrete 4-step framework designed to help you regain control of your marketing immediately. We've got Step 1, testing AI search. Step 2, checking your Google Business Profile or GBP health. Step 3, analyzing your last 90 days of paid search. And Step 4, auditing your after-hours lead response. Let's break down exactly what you need to look for.
For check 1, you have got to trust your AI search visibility. It's just no longer enough to go Google your community's name. You need to know if you're showing up in zero-click searches. That means actively testing prompts on platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI Overview. If a family types "best assisted living in my area with memory care" into Perplexity, does your community even get mentioned in the answer? If you aren't visible there, you're losing leads before a searcher even gets to those traditional blue links.
Okay, checks 2 and 3 are where the data really starts to tell a story. For your GBP health, remember that the algorithm heavily rewards active engagement now. You need to look at your posting history and your review response rate. Are you leaving reviews unanswered? Because that's actively hurting your ranking. Now let's pivot and compare that with your paid search data over the last 90 days. You're looking for paid terms that are suddenly losing performance. Why? Because those terms are probably being eaten up by AI zero-click results. You might literally be paying for keywords that people no longer need to click on.
And finally, check 4. You absolutely must review your lead response performance specifically for after-hours inquiries. When families are totally stressed out and researching care at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, how is your system handling that intake? These 4 findings, your AI visibility, your local engagement health, your wasted paid spend, and your after-hours response, they all combine to create a highly specific, actionable punch list so you can calibrate your strategy for the rest of 2026. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The urgency, preparing for fall occupancy.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real issue here. We have to pivot away from the algorithms and technical data for a second and talk about human behavior. Why does doing this audit right now matter so much? Because the families who will be making care decisions in the fall are doing their research right now. The senior care sales cycle doesn't happen overnight. The summer marketing slump isn't just a July problem. It is a direct threat to your Q4 occupancy. If your strategy is invisible to AI search engines today, your community is going to be empty in October. You have to intercept them during this vital research phase.
This is exactly why silvercore.io runs this mid-year audit for senior care operators. It's all about finding those sneaky gaps between the January plan and the July reality, and then building a calibrated, data-driven strategy for the second half of the year. Getting this right is absolutely foundational. Oh, and definitely keep an eye out for our upcoming explainer, where we're going to dive deep into reputation management and how it acts as essential intake infrastructure for these newly captured leads.
But for now, I want to leave you with this one critical thought to take back to your team. Families in your market are researching fall care decisions today, like this very minute. Is your AI visibility intercepting them and guiding them straight to your community? Or is your outdated January strategy completely ignoring them? The choice of how you pivot next is entirely up to you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy auditing!